Welcome, everybody, to the Superhumanistic podcast, where we talk about all things health, wellness, and longevity. Thank you for joining us today. We are your hosts. I'm David.
I'm Jessica.
Make sure that you hit that follow button on this podcast so you never miss another episode. We put out one episode a week on Saturdays. Check us out on YouTube and Instagram for additional content. Don't forget to share this podcast with someone that you love, that you want to live a longer, healthier, happier life, and leave us a positive rating and review if you've ever found value in this podcast so that others can find this podcast as well. Last week, we talked about the difference between chronological age and biological age. So if you want to learn more about the differences and how you can lower your biological age by doing healthy things like working out, eating right, go back and listen to last week's episode. This week,
we are going to be getting into anti-nutrients. Depending on who you follow on social media, these are either the hidden killers in our salad or a complete myth that's made up to sell more ribeye.
It's a pretty polarized world out there. Yeah. On one side, you've got the plant paradox crowd claiming lectins are punching holes in your gut. On the other, you've got the hardcore carnivores saying plants are basically trying to poison you because they can't run away.
Yeah, so we're going to start first with those basics. What exactly are anti-nutrients? Really, it's the defense mechanism, so it's lectins and oxalates.
Strictly speaking, an anti-nutrient is a plant compound that interferes with the absorption of vitamins and minerals.
Right, so even if you're taking vitamins and minerals, if you have these in your system, then it's not able to get into our bloodstream as needed. So we're going to look at the big two that everyone is stressing about. So first are lectins. Lectins are those proteins that are found in high amounts within beans, grains, and nightshades like tomatoes and peppers. They're essentially the plant's security system, meant to discourage insects from eating them. And then the second is the oxalates. Oxalates are found in our spinach, kale, and beets. And those are those tiny crystals that can bind to calcium. If we have too many of these or too many of the oxalates, they can lead to kidney stones or joint pain for sensitive individuals.
All right, well, here's the superhumanistic truth. The truth is that 90% of people essentially don't really have to worry about that. These aren't the villains that they're cracked up to be. If you cook your beans, you neutralize almost all the lectins. And if you steam your spinach, you neutralize or reduce the oxalates. So the great debate, plant-based versus carnivore, rages on.
Right, yes. And we've talked about both of these and how we kind of incorporate into our own lives, not necessarily calling it a diet, but just in our meals that we eat. More plant-based on certain weeks, and then we are still eating meat on other weeks. So for us, it's kind of a mix of both. This leads us to that clash of the titans. However, the carnivore diet has exploded recently. We've heard of the keto diet, of course, which goes pretty severe with just having lots of protein with meat. So those proponents claiming that by removing all plant toxins or anti-nutrients, their autoimmune issues vanished and their energy skyrocketed.
And we have to validate that. Many people do feel better on those carnivore diets, but is it because plants are toxic or because they finally cut out those processed foods, processed sugars, seed oils, and gluten? It's often an accidental elimination diet.
Exactly. And meanwhile, the plant-based camp points to those blue zones. And again, we've talked about this before. Blue zones, go back and listen to those episodes if you are interested in what a blue zone actually is, on how those people living in blue zones live. But these are essentially region where those people live the longest. They're all eating high lectin foods like lentils and soy.
That's where the paradox is. Plants contain these stressors, but in very small doses. Those stressors actually make our bodies stronger. It's a concept called hormesis. It's like weightlifting for your cells. So the superhumanistic verdict is?
Yeah, so are we going to be throwing out our spinach or the steak?
Neither. If you have a compromised gut or autoimmune issues, first seek out the help of a doctor, of course, but be mindful of oxalates and lectin is a smart move. You might want to pressure cook your beans or opt for low oxalate greens like arugula.
Yeah, for the average person looking for longevity, the truth here is usually somewhere in the middle. Diversity is the ultimate biohack, right? We always talk about adding in as much fiber as we can throughout the week, but that's within a variety of different foods. So our gut microbiome needs that fiber from plants in order to thrive, and our brain also needs those nutrients found in high quality animal product. High quality being our key word here.
Bottom line, don't fear the tomato, just don't eat it raw if it makes your joints hurt. That goes back to listening to your body and doing that intuitive eating. I was just telling my wife yesterday, got a few chores done, sat down on the couch for a few minutes, was going to get ready to go grab some Starbucks and felt like I needed a nap. Eyes got super heavy and just wanted to relax. So skipped Starbucks and took that nap. You got to listen to the body sometimes. So listen to your bio-individual signals, not just the loudest person on the internet.
Well said.
All right, so that's what we had for you today. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube and Instagram, and share this podcast with someone that you love that is on a health and wellness journey. Leave us a rating and review if you ever found value in these podcasts. Don't forget to stay resilient, stay curious, and keep striving for that superhuman edge. We'll see you next time.
Bye.